A 400 job employment announcement just dropped in your market on Tuesday.
But by 6:15 the next morning, your blog is already what it means for local home buyers in the area, written source, published, while every other agent in town might just be waking up to hear the news.
And nobody typed a word in the morning. A system reads the news at 5:50 a.m., decided the story was big enough, and handed to the blog automation that runs 25 minutes later.
And so we're going to show you how this system works for our market, layer by layer, because we do this every single day because it's looking for this information. It's more than just employment news. So if you're a relationship agent, everyone in your community already knows who you are, and you want to be the trusted local voice, so you, without ever being salesy, and this is one of those plays that you can do every single day to make sure you're the voice that they're listening to.
The same if you are 2 to 5 years in your real estate market in local area and closing an average 6 to 8 deals a year, and you know the fact that consistency is what gets you to the next level of the closing, and you don't have one more hour in your day to put extra.
Or maybe you're really all about your marketing and you care about your local brand, and your biggest fear is setting you how you blend for every other agent in the area, including market updates. So being first on this kind of information stops you from blending in, makes you become a forerunner. And this system serves every agent out there. So let's go to where the news starts, not where you actually grab it and hear about it.
And here's a mistake that almost everyone makes. When the agent here watch the local news, they think the TV station website. That's the last place actually the news arrives and not the first.
So our system is watching 8 different sources every single morning, including the local paper, both TV stations, but then most of the sources are things that most agents have never even heard about. The county government's press release page, City Hall's official news page, the state commerce department's announcements, the hospital system's newsroom, the university system's newsroom. Why?
Why those? Because the big economy news appears on official page hours or even the day before reporter writes the story. And when a company commits to bringing job to your area, the state commerce department publishes that announcement the moment the deal is signed.
So you're not trying to react to what the journalists say. You're reading from the same sources that the journalists are getting, and you're seeing it at the same time they do. Now, every single morning, I have my system running at 5:50. Maybe yours is going to be a different time, but mine is running at 5:50. So basically, it's going before the automation of my blog. So it's looking at what the fresh news is always waiting there. So that way, when the blog is going to start running its engines, the news is already run to see what happened the day before.
Exactly. Therefore, what exactly you use as a system to run this?
I do use Gemini with this along with Cloud. So Gemini has a live search grounding, which means AI can actually search the web in real time and give you the report stories that are coming with real sourceable links, not made up news. And it will look at these things for 72, it can look back 72 hours at all 8 sources that I put in or told it to look. Maybe there's different sources and you come up with more sources, but those are like my base 8. And then the story hits whenever the size gates actually matter. So if there's a big, you might make your numbers up different. Mine are actually much smaller than this, but say 250 in your single employer, or now 100 new homes are about to be developed in your area. These are things that matter for your market.
Or for example, a new facility or headquarters or groundbreaking or a major housing policy changes in your area. A big story becomes tomorrow's blog topic automatically, and it overrides the normal content rotation that you have in your program or a schedule.
And the small story isn't wasted, it's getting into the regular rotation. So basically, I'm not going to be posting politics, absolutely not. Crime, storm news, doom scrolling, license commission rule changes. That's I care about, but my people and my home buyers and zone sellers don't really care about that. Anything outside of my area, again, not my area, not my cup of tea. Or anything without a working source link, that's really key. Because you want to make sure that your brand is always staying safe, compliant, and we have a reason to say, hey, this told us this, so we're at least passing along the source.
Exactly. What was the last rule?
And one more, if it manually dropped our own topic into the queue, that feeder won't run that day. So if there's no news, it's not running. So the judgment's always there, but you can always check it out yourself and get a report so you can see in your email if maybe something should have been there, and then go back and talk to your Chrome, but or why you would have chosen that one or whatever, but that way you can still see what it is.
Now we wanted to talk about layer 2, which is development pipeline, that almost the part that many people or sometimes no one do. And now the layer that separates this from every news alert tool that you have seen.
Well, TV stations cover when a new subdivision sign is going up into the market, but they basically ignore the approvals that happened at the planned board meeting months earlier. That's in an agenda that's happened a long time ago. Maybe 12 people opened that thing. The second layer is actually reading what the notes and the agendas and the minutes of the meetings and jurisdictions of the county. I look at all 7 counties that I'm looking at, and plus the county government, so I'm looking at 8 jurisdictions. And then this, you want to tell me what it's scanning for?
It's scan the exact word, the mean the new construction. For example, the mean of the new construction is coming, rezoning, preliminary and final plats, and annexation or conditional zoning, a plan unit development, or even the site plans. These are all part of those categories.
And I often catch small infrastructure things like streetlights. And this is funny because we were like, oh, we're selling homes in this community. We can see there's an issue with the streetlights. Now I can share news that I know that they're debating whether to put a streetlight in this subdivision, so I can share that with my people potentially buying in the area. That way we are informed. Also, sewer lines, sidewalk, because when a town approves streetlights, they have a named subdivision that's about to grow. The homes are there, and we're going to start selling those homes, so we need to know what they are. But every project has to go into a persistent registry with the status history. And here's the key. I don't know if my hands are hitting buttons, but trigger for the blog post is the status change. We want to see when proposed becomes approved, because proposed, anything can be approved. Balloons can be proposed, but actually when they actually get approved is when it matters, because the approval matters, and then that's going to be when you publish, not before the signs even go up.
Exactly. To honesty though, because we teach what is real. We don't track the building permits. Our county, for example, has no live machine-readable permit feed and approvals that are earlier, the more valuable stage anyway. Therefore, and the two, what is the two?
And 2 of our towns in our area are very old school. They don't allow downloading. So basically you have to have the cloud code, open the browser to look at the agenda views and capture the documents on the website, because they're not allowing for a download.
Exactly. Now we want to talk about the safety net. Not every town publishes, for example, agendas. One of our outsourced is planning work entirely and has nothing basically to escape. Scrape. And so what is the third layer?
So basically at 645, we're also checking Google News and all the real news that everybody else is seeing. That we'll look for individual towns, jobs, housing, keywords, development. So you're still looking for that bigger data that maybe you didn't get from somewhere else. So basically layer 1, official sources. Layer 2, agendas of what's happening at meetings. And layer 3 is actually reading the news that everybody's talking about. So 3 layers, so therefore nothing actually slips by.
Exactly. Now, the question is, after all these 3 layers, how to build this and how use the cloud code in a plain English to help you to build what we already explained it to you here.
Now, it's basically cloud code is going to write the automation details, put it on a schedule, test it out. And for instance, with my 2 stubborn towns, we had to argue with cloud in order. Opus is not always it's not always fun to listen to, but you have to take to how can we solve it? They don't download, those meetings don't download. How can we solve it? The browser workaround is an answer, but we had to problem solve with the code. So you have to kind of talk to it, like I really do need these things, you can't ignore it. And then we come up with a system way that works. So the whole thing runs on the computer. I'm not paying a monthly service. There's no portal subscription other than I'm paying for cloud code. And basically it's running, and I speak to it in plain English. I'm also skipping weather stories. I don't care about that. I'm skipping whatever's happening at the university for the day-to-day stuff. I really care about the jobs. I care about the housing, anything that relates to housing. So that is where I'm really kind of focusing on. And that really comes from cloud code, understanding me.
And the good thing is why this strategy that we were talking about gets you fine. And we were talking about how people, they find you on the Google, how you can be, or your blog post to be an answer by the AI. And there is second payoff behind all the things that we already talked to. And what are that exactly?
Basically, people aren't going on Google and asking the questions anymore. They're going to ChatGPT, they're going to Gemini, they're going to Perplexity, they're going to Cloud, they're going to all the Chinese websites. What's happening? And the answer to these is really very recent, specific, and backed by real sources. So where the system is seeing our information is coming with real sources, and it's seeing the information. So when you're consistently showing up as a local site, showing with the announcements where on your blog, where the official site sources, you are the AI tool that the AI is going to quote when somebody's asking you about your market, and that is really going to give you authority.
And this is how the authority actually compounds, because every biggest story that you cover first makes you likely to be recommended as your local real estate expert on the next one for the Google, for the any people that ask AI to get the answers.
So if you're the type of agent who wants to know everything first, if you're the type of agent who's always looking for consistency, or you're building lifestyle brands and you want to be the market news will help everybody and every single agent. So I really say this is something that we should all be thinking about and using AI for in order to actually show our expertise off in an area.
Exactly. If you wanted to run your business and you want it to be automated, that you save the time for something that is income generating for you, please go to the description below and book a calendar with us. We are Alan Victoria Pinder, Icon Agent with eXp Realty, and we are here to level up your business. And also we have in the description some of our codes.
Our link to our free GitHub, which is it's just about like very simple stuff with listing, but you can just see our first automated thing that you can start using right now to see if you even like it. A GitHub is basically like a folder. In this folder, you can talk to Cloud and say, here, do this for me. And basically anybody who connects with us, we help you build far more than this one thing.
And don't forget to watch all of our playlists here, and don't forget to subscribe and